Let's see. All systems go? I think so. Flip his post-clarity switch. I think you know what that means. You need to reignite his interest if things moved too fast. Sometimes even if they didn't. That's what this live is all about tonight. Welcome. You need to do this because of hormones. I've talked about that in several videos, taken the neuroscience of it and why things happen between men and women in the way that they do, if sex comes into play early on. But tonight I'm going to give you my take using an example of a great video from Ismael Gomez III. I like him a lot, and he can give a man's take on it, and then I'm going to give you my take on it and how you might change things. So welcome to this video tonight about flipping his post-clarity switch. Going to take Q&A after, so be ready for that with your questions by coming over to YouTube if you are on Instagram, because YouTube is where I see comments and can take your questions, and I want to be able to answer them for you so you get all that you can out of this. I'm going to start, like I said, with a video by Ismael Gomez III. If you don't know him, he is very prolific on YouTube. I'm not sure about other platforms. I haven't taken a look because I like his format here on YouTube. And this is where you can get really good content in a comprehensive way to give you the information you need to take you from A to B to C. That's what he's about. That's what I'm all about. If you don't know me, I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach for women, licensed social worker and author of this book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I help you find a Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing relationship with a man you truly desire, so you create the relationship of your dreams and then level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. Because make no mistake, it's we, the women in relationships, that create them, that actually lay the foundation and the framework for the man that allows him to feel safe and comfortable to commit. And so we're going to get right into this tonight so you can ask your questions. Again, come on over to YouTube to ask your questions, because that's where I see them and can answer them for you. So let's get right into it with Ismael Gomez III. Again, I really like him. I like Matthew Hussey. There are a few people that I feel like I can get behind, that their message is good, it's appropriate. While we may not agree on absolutely everything, we are really, really close. Now, they have millions of followers and subscribers, and I'm just a little coach here, actually doing the legwork that is actually affordable for most. And so I like that. I like to make my services affordable. And I do work under a lens that is a bit different than they do, which is I encourage and adapt to each woman's unique situation, in that it must be about three pillars in my estimation. And these are the three pillars that I work under. The mindset you have, which includes your self-concept and how we get to that and deal with the subconscious programming that makes you feel the way you do. To a great extent, it's subconscious programming. And we're going to get to tonight also the hormones that come into play in a super big way. And then, of course, the manifesting, keeping you in a very positive mindset that you can get what you want, which is an important part of it. And then, of course, the mechanics of men, which is our behavior with men, sometimes despite how we feel. In other words, we can behave our way to getting what we want. Typically, we can't feel our way there. We have to behave our way there. But we have to tackle the feelings in a way that you can become aware of where they come from, override them, and use them in a way to manifest what it is that you really want. So we're going to start with this from Ismael. Tell me if you cannot hear it, because I want to make sure you hear it. We're going to stop it and discuss it as we go. Let's take a look.
Let me ask you something. Who do you think has a better chance of getting commitment from the right man? A woman who takes her time, dates intentionally, and really gets to know him? Or a woman who jumps in fast and gets emotionally invested right away? Well, what I can tell you is that in my coaching practice, I'm constantly encouraging women to slow things down. Why? Because so many of you are just still getting physical right away, over texting, oversharing your whole past on the first few dates, trying to prove your worth by giving everything up front, all in the hope that the guy is going to see your potential and finally choose you. But here's
okay, so I want to give my take on this while we are here, which is you can actually start with something physical and get to where you want to go. And he's going to address this. And I like the way he does address it because it does happen. I want you to think of probability and possibility. Is it possible that you can sleep with a man quickly, first date, second date, early on, and it can go the distance? It's of course possible. How do we know it's possible? Because we see it happen. In other words, if anyone has ever in human history done it, it's possible. And it is possible. It's not quite as probable, and he goes into the why of that, but I want you to know that we can work on things and it's possible. He does it in a different way. In other words, he basically tells a woman probably it's not going to work and to move on. That's really not my approach, because I actually think you can have slept with a man early on. If you do my lure him in approach, typically it will work because he will be back after there's been enough time that he regulates and wants you again. And this is hormonal, and I'm going to get to that too. And you can have it. So let's keep going with Ismael and hear him out, and then I'm going to give you more.
the truth. In love and dating, urgency rarely leads to commitment. And I know that you're probably thinking, but Ismael, I know some women who rushed into things and they still ended up in a committed relationship. And you're right, that does happen. I know a few of them as well, but let's be honest, that is the exception, not the rule. Like, we all know those people that, they never study for the test and they always do well on the exam, or they eat, fast food every day and they still stay fit. It is possible, but it's not the model that you want to follow if you actually care about being healthy. In most cases, rushing into intimacy or over-investing too soon is going to lead to disconnection, not commitment. Because when the foundation is built too fast, it rarely lasts. So today, I'm going to show you how slowing things down actually works. Not just to protect yourself, but also to inspire devotion, consistency, and clarity from the right men. All right?
Okay. So again, understand that, yes, it's not as probable, but it's not far off from possible. I always say it's not that you had sex too soon. It's what you did after that. This is so important. If you feel you have made this mistake and you want to immediately course correct, you can. And this you will understand more when I give you here information about how men, how they deal with sex in terms of their hormones, and how we do, how different they are, and why it is important. If you don't know this, there is nothing more vital for you to hear. So give me a second here. I'm going to give this to you from Dr. Tara Swart. She is a neurologist, I believe, a medical doctor. She explains it beautifully, how the hormones work and why it is that men seem to immediately lose interest upon having sex early on, and why it is better that you wait. But again, we can work with it if you have, and many women have. I want you to get this first and foremost. So take a listen to this first. We'll discuss it.
And that's going to make her bond to the guy much more. If you have sex on the first date, the guy's vasopressin levels will plummet straight away, and all he'll be interested in is testosterone. If you make him wait, his vasopressin and oxytocin levels go up. And then when you do actually have sex, he's already bonded. So it's more likely to become part of a loving relationship.
Wow. So if a woman sleeps with a man on the first date or two, is a man driven to want to bond long-term with that person? No. Why not?
Because the vasopressin levels drop as soon as he has sex.
What does that mean?
So vasopressin is the one that makes the prairie voles monogamous. The higher the levels of that, and that the receptors appear in the reward circuitry of your brain. And so basically, if you see your partner in distress, it affects your brain, those neurons, and you want to comfort her through physical touch. So that's oxytocin. But if you haven't had time for those receptors to appear in the correct place to make you bond, then it's just it goes back to lust. So what I say about love and relationships is that the genetics and the receptors will load the gun, but sexual activity will pull the trigger.
So based on neuroscience, if you sleep with someone quickly, you're less likely to bond long-term together. You're more likely to be promiscuous or just not be as interested in that person long-term. Is that right? That's fascinating.
I know.
But you
So it's really important to understand it from that perspective, because when you understand that we have much more oxytocin because we have much less testosterone. Testosterone ramps down the oxytocin. So immediately, when you feel bonded because you've had sex, I don't want you to think you're abnormal or crazy or in any way out of the realm of what is considered normal. It's normal for women to feel that. That is biological in a sense. It is hormonal. We can see this very easily about oxytocin in doggies. Everyone who has a dog laughs about this because whether you are gone for 5 days, 5 hours, or 5 minutes, when you come back, the doggy is crazed to see you. Very, very happy and like you've been gone forever. That is because they have a much greater amount of oxytocin than humans do. I read about this. It was really fascinating. And we, as women, release greater amounts of oxytocin. And every time we are with a man, again, as I tell you, we bond through time and sex, we release the oxytocin. So we're bonding with him through time, and every time we orgasm, big amount of oxytocin. If he is not in love first, he doesn't release any of the bonding chemicals. She explained it here beautifully. We don't have to go over that again, but understand this, and you get why it's important for you to hold back, that men are not being mean, that they're not dogs, that they are not doing this just with you. It's not about you specifically. They had a wonderful time with you. And this is what I want you to take away, that despite what everyone says is that you can't get it going, you can. But you cannot, just like Ismael said, have any urgency about it at all. And you cannot show any pursuit of the man. Men fall in love through pursuing your time, attention, and affection. Let me say that again. Men fall in love through pursuing your time, attention, and affection. And this is what he means, Ismael, by waiting. And he gives a good example. I think he's going to give it here. So I want to give you more of this. I think I lost it. So give me 1 second. Yeah, I did. There's a lot of switching here I have to do. And so that when you're live, this is what happens. So let's take a look. All right. Lots of switching. Bear with me. All right, let's see if we got to the right place.
When a man first meets you, especially if there's strong attraction, his response is not just about you as a person, it's also a chemical reaction to novelty. This is like an instant chemical cocktail for men, okay? His dopamine spikes, his testosterone increases, and he feels excitement because the connection is new, unpredictable, and full of possibility. But here's the catch. If you move too fast, if you immediately give him all your time, attention, and physical intimacy, you satisfy that novelty spike before it has a chance to deepen into something more meaningful. You know, it's like eating an entire box of chocolates in one sitting. For a moment, it feels incredible, but afterwards, he might feel overstimulated and maybe even regretful. And slowing down doesn't always have to mean that you're playing games or manipulating his interest. It all comes down to creating space for clarity. It's going to give his brain, okay, time to distinguish between short-term desire and genuine compatibility. Again, when the payoff is not instant, he's going to stay curious. He's going to be wondering about you. He's going to be imagining, what does it feel like to be closer to her? He's going to start investing emotionally instead of just chemically. I mean, I'm sure
Okay, you heard that. Did you hear those words? Wondering. He's going to start wondering. Those of you who know me here, you know how important it is to make a man wonder. If you've read my book, and if you haven't, come on over to YouTube. It's all here, chapter by chapter, in audio form. And if you want a copy and you can't afford the copy on Amazon or wherever, write to my assistant. We'll give you a PDF copy of it. It's really important that you understand the difference. Women love through knowing. Men love through wondering. And when we don't give the man that experience of wondering, then he doesn't have that chance of falling, investing, wanting more. How do we give him that experience? By waiting, allowing him to long, wonder, and most of that is done with holding back. That can be super hard when you are excited. I often say this to women because it's very hard for us because we rarely meet men that we really like. And so for us, it is like there are no puppies in the world and you haven't seen one for a year. And then all of a sudden, you're presented with the cutest puppy ever. Oh my gosh, you're going to just want to devour it. But men, they don't have that. In other words, if they could, if you put 10 women, appropriate age, within any range that they like them physically, they would want something about each and every one of those women. That's very, very different than us. We are apples and oranges, yin and yang, night and day, sun and rain, equal but opposite. And we have to give the man the experience he needs, just like we want him to give us the experience we need. Here's the issue. He will give us the experience we truly want over time if we give him the experience initially. What happens is we've got it all wrapped up and we all want it immediately because he's going to want it immediately. Of course, he's never going to slow you down. I always say we have to be the pace car. You just can't go fast. You got to really go around the track slowly so that he can get up enough interest to pursue you. And that is done through his pursuit. And it feeds on itself. You will know initially if it was just sex because he won't be giving you the certain clues of his time, his real intention, his making plans, doing with you, wanting to see you. Ismael goes into that more, so I want to get into it, and we will get to questions. But again, I wanted to give you all of this and my take on it because it can really be of help to you. So let's keep going.
I know that most of you ladies have heard about the post-nut clarity effect, and this is the mental and emotional shift that many men experience immediately after sex. So if he wasn't truly emotionally invested, he might lose interest right away. Not because you did something wrong, but because his physical desire was masking his emotional truth. I mean, my suggestion is always that you don't choose a man who's intoxicated by short-term attraction, okay? The kind that feels really intense but fades fast. You want to be chosen with clarity, intention, and long-term vision. Number 2, filtering out low-effort men. You know, one word that I see a lot of you misunderstand in dating and relationships is consistency. And yes, consistency matters, okay? But the type of consistency matters even more. I mean, think about it. A man can text you every day, okay? He can call you every night, but never make plans that move the relationship forward. He can give you a lot of compliments and still avoid showing up in any meaningful way. So again, he's being consistent, but with low effort. And this is what I want you to understand. Consistency without depth, intention, or progress is just repetition, not commitment. So how do you tell the difference? Well, one thing that you can do is to slow things down, okay? When you set a steady, intentional pace, when you don't rush to escalate the connection, you force him to reveal whether he's truly invested or just seeking instant gratification. Men who
Okay, understand what he said there, that when you don't force the connection, and that we have to translate when you don't take action toward the connection. That's why I keep telling you, don't reach out, don't text him. Let's keep going.
are only in it for quick validation or easy intimacy, they're not going to stick around, okay? If the payoff is not instant, they're going to call you too hard to get, they're going to get frustrated, and they're going to move on to someone who moves faster. But guess what? They're going to waste her time instead. And you know, I deal with this every month with my clients. You know, when somebody comes to me and they tell me, hey, Ismael, you know, I'm dating this guy, but he doesn't seem sure about us. You know, what should I do? And the first thing that we do is to raise her standards and align her with what she really wants. And guess what happens? You know, the wrong guy always walks away within a few days. And that's
okay. So here's where I differ a little bit, because if you really want him, there is a way to guide it, but it's typically much less than how you would want it to go, less than the pace. You can't have any urgency about it, but you don't have to totally give up on the guy. That's where I differ with him a little bit, and I have seen it work. Certainly it's worked for me, for so many of my clients. If you take the urgency away from it, because it's usually you as the woman, it's your energy coming at him. And when I say at him, meaning if you don't do any pursuit, yes, there will be men that will completely fall off the rails. But that's not typical. Typically, if there's been any interest from the man and you've been pacing it and he has any interest in you at all, you can grow it. You don't have to give up on it. And that takes certainly some finessing it, certainly the art of mystique, so to speak, and then, of course, the mechanics of men that I talk about. And that's unique to each woman in each situation. Most likely, if we were working together on it, it is tamping down your anxiety that he is disappearing, your anxiety that he is going away. Not that you have to just let it go. If you want to, sure. But I find that is very, very hard for women because of what we just talked about, meaning you don't run across men that you really like that often. So it's hard not to hold on to that special feeling. But when we work with the behaviors that he sees, and then on the other side, we're dealing with your overriding your programming, which is causing your anxiety, and tamping that down, it can work. So let's keep going here.
That's exactly what you want. Even though it sucks in the moment, you want to let the guys who are wasting your time, who are only in it for convenience, to reveal themselves early. And by the way, this is something that I suggest you apply to every single area of your life, okay? I've had to do it in my own life. with certain friends, in my relationships, and even in my coaching business. Whenever I see low effort clients, the ones who want to find love in 2 weeks or fix the relationship in one call, I already know the truth. They're not ready, okay? And when they say to me, well, Ismael, I heard this other coach who can help me faster, I'm like, great, go and work with them, because this is what I've learned, okay? Anyone who enters your life with a low effort, shortcut mentality is going to be the worst kind of partner, the worst kind of friend, and yes, the worst kind of client. And I avoid that energy around me at all costs.
So what I understand what he's saying. However, we also have to understand that many men will come into our lives with their own programming and their own need for something instant. And when they don't understand, because of different ways I have found my clients relating, that has given the man the opposite message than what you want, it can make him go away. And that's very nuanced. I help women to couch their statements in a way that allows for the man to feel safer and not chastised. There's a lot out there right now where women want to be super direct. They don't want to play games. They want to say exactly to the man how he should be behaving and what he should be doing. Well, that's not going to fly for anybody. And what he's saying here is that if he finds that in his own life and in his coaching or what have you, he lets it go. And yes, there's certainly a place for that. So let's keep going.
Suggest that you do the same. And final, number 3, it gives them time to see you as unique. When you move too fast, the connection can feel like just another experience for him, okay? Another first date, another dopamine rush, another physical moment that never had time to mean anything. But when you allow the connection to unfold gradually, something is going to shift, okay? He's going to start noticing the small things, how you think, how you carry yourself. You stop blending in with every other woman that he's dated because he's finally given the space to truly see you. I mean, think about how many times you felt pressure to over-explain, to overshare, or overgive in the early stages, just to prove that, you were worthy and you wanted to keep him interested. And let me give you another example, okay? Imagine watching 20 of my videos in one day. By the end of it, you will probably remember 5% of what I said. But what if instead you only watched 3 of my videos every single day and maybe even rewatched one that really hit you? That experience will be completely different. My content and what I said will really stick with you. And that's exactly how you want to show up in dating. Be memorable, okay? Not just another woman that he liked and forgot. All right, ladies, so in conclusion, here's how I want you to look at all of this, okay? What if the urge to move fast is not about him at all, okay? It's not about men. It's about you trying to skip the uncertainty. We say that we want connection, but sometimes we just rush because sitting in the unknown feels unbearable. We try to control the outcome, avoid rejection, or lock it in before we feel too vulnerable. Because the truth is that a real connection doesn't grow in control. It grows in the space and how you let it unfold. Is. So let me ask you this, and I really want you to think about it, all right? The times that you moved really fast in dating or relationships, is it because you were excited, or is it because you were afraid that, slowing down will ruin everything, that it will make him lose interest? And I know that a lot of you are going to be writing in the comments that it's actually the second one, and I want you to think, why is that the case? Anyways, thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'm glad that you've chosen me to learn about self-love, dating, and relationship dynamics, because like I always say, for your relationships to change, you need to change, okay? Have a beautiful day.
So, yes, this is true what he's saying, but that is an intellectualization of it. And when I work with someone, I work with where it came from in terms of your programming. Because if you don't have ways to override that programming, you're going to stay in the urgency. You're going to stay in the over-explaining. Everything he said here, you know, is intellectually appropriate and correct. But correcting it takes work in terms of you first understanding, well, how am I going to override that programming? I have had a lifetime so far, however old you are, of men leaving, ghosting, not feeling worthy, not feeling enough. And I mean deep down, because consciously, you know you are. Consciously, you know you have everything a man could want. You have beauty, you have brains, you have humor. You can give him many things. But it's the programming of when you were from birth to age 7 that is actually your subconscious knowing of what love actually is, your subconscious experience of your worth and value from a baby mind that had no intellect. And this is where you are relating from. And if we don't get to that, along with, okay, I'm going to manifest what I want and I'm going to have what I want. And that can keep you in a positive mindset. And then these behaviors with men, you will typically not overcome this. And with the next man that you feel that way about, you will feel compelled to do the same thing because you will feel too anxious not to. I trust that makes sense. So we're going to go into the Q&A. Then I see a couple of a great question here and also a comment that I want you to see. I will do more of these. If you're on Instagram, come on over to Coach Paula Grooms on YouTube to join us and to get your questions answered, because I answer questions there. I want to answer any of your questions and help you get what it is that you desire, deserve. So come on over to that forum and please do so, because I'm growing on YouTube, because that's where you can really get this content in a big way and move the needle for yourself. And by you coming over, subscribing, liking the video, and commenting, then you help me to help you. So I hope you will do that and see you over on YouTube. Come on over from Instagram. All righty. So let's get to your questions here. And I thank you, those here on YouTube. So, question from, all right, let's take a look. I slept with a guy for 2 months and I dated a guy. Good correction, right? I dated a guy for 2 months and hadn't slept with him. He backed off, said I make him emotional, and he's not sure if he can give me a family. He's scared. I thanked him for telling me, will he be back? Okay, so you did what we are talking about here. You waited. And what I'm hearing is that you allowed for him to figure it out and get past just the physical that Ismael was talking about. This is big. You allowed for that to occur by the waiting and the pacing. And here's what happens when we do that. What this man is telling you by saying, I make him emotional. Now, if you were standing in your value and you were having nice times, if that made him emotional, that means he really liked you, really honored you. And after that amount of time, he really thought about, do I want to hold this woman up from getting what she wants because I'm not sure if I want children? And if that emotional was because you were emotional and talking about the relationship, then it's very, very different. So you see how I need context to help you? Because they are two different things. The first one, this is a man who you guided and who he really had to consider and think. And he is now in his knowing that I can't do this. This makes me emotional because I'm giving up a great girl. I'm giving up somebody I really would want, but I can't give her what she wants. So I must be a man and I must go. Now, you didn't say here that he said he's scared. I don't know if you just feel he's scared. They're two different things. So I don't know. You say, will he be back? This is an interesting one, because if he goes through what he needs to go through and changes his mind on giving you a family, then he will be. See, we must understand that men do not commit by love alone. That's female. And what are men all about? Above everything else, not being female. They want to be men. And there's a creed and a code for good men. One creed, one code. You don't hurt women and children. And one of those ways you don't hurt them is you don't hold them to you when you know what they want and you are not going to be able to give it to them. This is my puppy principle. Like I said, if you don't know it, go to its own playlist and listen to the audiobook, or connect with my assistant and we'll give you the PDF, or go on Amazon and get the book. When you understand that we love and care for, bond to, and commit to puppies in the same way men do with us, you get it. In other words, no matter how much you love doggies, you can be a big doggy lover. You could have a puppy in front of you and you could love it to death. If you can't adopt it because you do not want to be responsible for it or to it, because of what you would have to do, how you have to take care of it, who you have to be a puppy owner, you will do the right thing by letting it get adopted by someone else. You wouldn't just, here's where the analogy goes a little awry, because of course it's puppies and not people. But I use this example. If a stray puppy comes to your door every day, and you know it's in the neighborhood, and there are people in the neighborhood feeding it, and they talk about this stray doggy. If you love it and you think, oh my gosh, you take it in and you give it a bath and you sleep with it on the weekends and you love on it and you have fun with it, you watch movies with it while it's curled up with you. But you know you're going to be moving to a place where you can't have a big puppy. You're going to be taking a world trip for a long time. You don't have the funds. Whatever it is, you're not going to adopt it. The right thing to do is to not tell everybody else in the neighborhood, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Oh, don't you adopt it, because maybe I will. No. if you have any adultness about you, no matter how much you love it, you will want to see it adopted by the right people for it. That's how good men feel about women. So despite loving the little puppy you've spent this time with, you will do the right thing. Not keep it from getting adopted by somebody else. This is what good men do. This can be very hard for us because we want them to just do it through love alone. But because men do not view commitment in the same way, women, and again, it's one of my gender gaps, women view commitment as a natural outgrowth of love. You don't have to think about it, it just happens. Men view commitment as a responsibility, just like we view committing to that puppy as a responsibility. So no matter how much we love it, if we are not ready, we don't do it. And that's the deal. So, Siren, I believe, is the name. You did the right thing by allowing for him to find out. If you weren't talking about the relationship all the time, if you were just having it, having time enjoying each other, and then he finally said to you that you make him emotional, and that means he's feeling something, and he's not sure if he can give you a family. If he said he's scared, the not sure could be a clue to you. In other words, it's a big difference between a man saying, I'm not having children. I can't ever give you that. But if he just said, I'm not sure and I'm scared, then there is a good chance he will be back. Here's the deal for you. You can't solely hold on to him coming back. You must move on, and then you'll see there's nothing you can do. Because men love through wondering and longing, he won't forget how you made him feel. You heard Ismael say, it's the woman who's different. He's not going to forget that. So hold on to that and know that there is that chance he will be back. I hope that helps you. And Jamera, thank you so much for helping me with my self-concept. Although it took lots of time and I didn't get the guy back, I'm so much better than I was years ago. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Yay, let's show that. That's fantastic. That's what we want. Well, he's not back now, and I know the situation a bit, and I think you probably know that he wasn't ready to adopt. And when he is, if ever, he will be back. I would bet my last dollar, knowing the situation in the way that I do. However, this is great because you have finally let go. Energetically, that's a great thing. Now you are free to find that someone who might be in a place to adopt. And if that ever happens for him and you are free, I totally believe, Jameer, he will be back. Hi, several people here. Good to see you. Thank you for the support. I hope this was helpful today. I'm going to do more with Ismael. You can check out his channel, but I hope you will support me here in supporting him and giving you my take on his videos. It can really help you see things even in a bigger way, a broader way, two different ways of saying the same thing. Yes, two different ways of saying the same thing, a male way, a female way. With that, I'm going to love and leave you. If you will, on your way out, tap that like button the alert bell, subscribe, share this far and wide. Like I said, gonna love and leave you so your man doesn't. We will see you in the next video.